I get the pleasure of introducing our speaker for today. He shares his years of experience, double digits, by the way, of experience, and he is been part of the network community for a lot with great success. In the last company he was in one of the top people over there. So usually when he says something, I'm listening. Let me see what I can do to make it work. His personality is really a true urchin. This man does his research and I love every bit of it. So his background is HR, okay, I say that because I relate to that. That's also my background along with that. So just really great that he just kind of comes in, shows us some things from an international point of not just ACN, but our industry and what it really can do and provide for our families and for the people that we're around. So if you can do me the favor and just put your hands together for Mr. R.D. Curtis Evans.
Hello, everyone. How you doing? I'm glad I'm here today. So what we're going to do today is just talk a little bit about our goals here. And I want to talk about myself just a little bit. Thank you for the warm introduction. I really appreciate that. Um, I think we'll start by, I want to talk about me just a little bit. I'm an average guy. So 2 weeks into my life, my dad picked me up and my mom, and he was in the military, so he hauled me all over the planet. So I was a military brat, not one of those ones that are stationed at one place and dad's gone all the time. We were actually going with him. So we were able to go all over this planet. And I learned a lot about people as I grew up. And I think that's not unlike everyone else here, but my experience was a little bit different in that I was able to live in areas and parts of the world where people didn't speak my language and I had to learn theirs and that sort of thing. I forgot a lot of that. But my parents, like most of us, taught me to become an employee. Now, I really want you to understand that part. They told me over and over, my teachers told me over and over, when I saw my family over and over, to get up, get you a really, really good education, get as smart as you could get, and then go into the workplace, wow them to death, get you a nice job, a comfortable job, and you stay on that job. This is the thought process was to stay on that job until you retire. You wanted to retire with a check that came every month. So essentially, we all were working hard so that we could get residual income. And I say that because most people, when we say residual income, they have no idea what you're talking about. So you may do a presentation for somebody and you talk about residual income. What is that? I mean, if you mention the word annuity, where you get a check every month because you got, but let's say you got $2 million in the bank and you get an annuity check, you got to put it into annuity, then every month they're going to send you so much money. That's residual income. But how many people know somebody like that? Nobody knows somebody like that. So we don't know anybody that's ever experienced residual income that way. Now, a lot of us do. It's called a Social Security check. It's called a disability check. It's called a check that comes from the government because of this and that. Now, when we get a Social Security check, we work really hard for if you start work 18 and you're 58, it's 40 years, 40, 60 years, 40, 45 years you work so that you can get a residual check. And everybody understands that. So on the first of the month, you may get a check from Uncle Sam that says this, this, and this. Now, what happens to get that, you had to work, let's say 50 years. You had to work 50 years in order to get that check. So it wasn't an overnight success. I mean, you were 18 and you worked till you're 28, 38, 48, 58, 68, you got your check. But it wasn't overnight. You worked a long time. And every week they'll put in about 7%, a little bit better than that. 7% of your income went into something called FICA, where they took your money so much by law, and then the employer by law had to add to that. He had to add the same 7% or whatever to that. All that money was sent to the government. The government managed that money so that down the road, should you get that old, and should you decide to retire, that you will be able to get that residual income. And I still don't call it residual. A lot of people call it mailbox check. It comes every month. I depend on it and that sort of thing. But even at that, it's not enough to live. Most people that are on Social Security or something like that, barely making it. They're barely making, unless they have the fortitude to pay for a house and pay for this and pay for that and do a lot of things, there really isn't enough money for a person to live on. And remember, you have to live on it if you're 60, 65. You have to live on that for about 30 years. And so you box yourself into a corner. So you box yourself into being poor for 30 years. And if you're okay with that, then you can keep that plan, you work that plan. Now, those are real world. So when we go out and show somebody the business, there are two key facets of our business. One of them is the bonus system. I love that. So that's when you help someone get started, you help someone gather a few customers, and they get paid and you get paid. That's a really great side. And we all, like I said last week, work the bonus side at first, because your residual check is going to be whatever it is until as it grows and grows and grows. So that's what we're really working for. And when we get into this business, we're really working to work the bonus side. And in the background, somewhere in the back of substance, there is a residual check that's growing. Now, you don't have to wait 40 or 50 years to get it. As soon as that is at every 3 months, the company will calculate what happened that month, and they'll send a residual check based on what happened 3 months ago. So you're going to get a residual check, and you're not going to wait 30 years. Now, this is where the stinger comes. Most people, when they see the first residual check, it doesn't have a comma in it. It's a small check. And that small check, some people, their first check is $50, some $30, some $20, some $80, some whatever. Well, it just depends on how many customers and how many people they have in their group in that first 3 months. It's very important that you don't get depressed when you see that check, because it's small and it grows and grows and grows and grows. But I'm going to tell you, it's not a 40-year, 50-year plan. That check will scare the bejesus off of you if you can follow the bonus system. If you can follow the bonus system, you're going to be really, really happy, which means you're working really, really hard to become a CQ. You got 3 customers, you put them in the system in a couple of days, and you got a check that came in. And then your only next job is to be so mad that you're a CQ, just can't stand it. You next want to do what? You want to be an ETL, and that's the executive team leader. That's a very good position to be in. And now you're going to do something that my mom and dad never told me about. They said, try to find something where you can get paid for what you don't do. Okay? You're going to try to get paid for something that you don't do. And now that sounds odd, because wealthy people understand that. If you're a plant manager, you understand it. If you manage a store, you understand it. If you manage a ton of stores, you understand it. But most people don't understand that. They simply want to get paid for what they did. They want to convert their time into money. They want to convert their time into money. They take that money and buy stuff with the money. That's a great plan. It works. It really works. And we're in the United States. It can work real well for you. The only problem is all of us only have so much time. Now, if you understand, you probably have allotted or allocated 40 hours to working this week on your job, 40 hours. And sometimes the boss allocates some more, 50 hours, 60 hours, and you get paid for that. But you don't have but 40 or 50 hours to work. So that means the system that you have for taking your time and converting your time into money is capped. That means it's capped because you only have so much time. Now you can work yourself to death a couple of 3 weeks, and you may do just that, work yourself to death. So because you'll get tired, your body's going to slow down, and you're not going to feel like doing a whole lot. So the magic of our business is you really come into this business to replace yourself. You want to keep building until another you shows up. Okay. And if you got really great work ethics, when that person shows up and they have great work ethics, over time, what happens is you have an army of people that are working hard for their own good. They could care less who you are. They really honestly can. So what you want is a bunch of folks that understand the compensation plan, understand they do not want to do the 40-hour deal, and get going. Now, I'm an older guy, so that means when I talk to people about this, they think their life is over because they are 50 years old. They think it's too late for me. I should have done something a long time ago. But that is not correct. They think because they're 60 years old, their life is over. I should have did something a long time ago, or 70 years old. So what we want to understand is you want to give yourself some runway. So, generally, You talk to everybody because you never know who's going to do the business and you never know who they know. So please, whatever you do, don't prejudge because they're 35, 40, 50, 60. You put everybody in business, ask them to put a list together of the people that they know, and then they're to invite people to take a look at a system that pays. It's going to help us to do really, really well. And then you got to be really good at introducing Al Thomas. You got to be really good at introducing Greg Provenzano. You have to make somebody, they won't listen to you. They're not going to listen to you because they know you. You're the guy that works with them that, kept hurting yourself. Or maybe you had somebody that works with you or you went to school with that couldn't play football, or they always got bad grades, or maybe they just, you know all their quirks. So, and they know all your quirks. So there's a good chance, a really good chance, they won't listen to you. And they may not even come to the presentation because what does Curtis know? What does Bob know? What does Sam know? That's what people do to people. They do that. So it's going to be on your goal. One of the skills you have to learn is how to embellish the person that you want to show the business to. You want to make sure that they know this person is really special. This person has done very, very well in our business. The person you're talking that you want them to listen to can show us a way out. Because I'm trying to, and I like to throw this in. I learned this about a couple of weeks ago, because I'm trying to pay off my house, and this person is going to show us how to do that. You may want a new car, but I'm trying to pay off my house. Some people want to retire early. I really want you to, I thought about you, Joe, so I wanted you to come listen to this guy. So remember, you want to do a very, very good job. I can't think of the word right now, but you want to do a very, very good job of making this person bigger than life. So they'll come to see this person. They'll come to see that person. They won't come to see you. That's a fact. They just know you already. Your brother knows you. Your sister knows you. I thank you for that. Edify, yes. Thank you very much, Ms. Crosby. You want to do what? Edify your guests. And this sounds like a little thing, and it sounds like you've blown up somebody, but blow them up, okay? If I went to a concert right now, when they introduce the singer, they're edifying the singer, the dancer, the swimmer, whoever you're going to see, the basketball player. You really want them to know a little bit about this person. They're doing very, very well. They can help you. I'm going to learn a lot from them, but I thought about you, and I want you to come to this presentation to hear. I think you're going to get a lot out of it. You do that properly, and your goal is to get a lot of people on that call. You personally get a lot of people on your call, and then you have that person do the presentation. You have that person do it. If you do it, like I said, they just don't listen. I don't know what that's about, but they won't. We all know that phenomena. So if you got that down, you can go. Now, what can help you to get ahead? And I saw a little video that helps me to show it to other people to help them to get ahead. Because the whole problem with this life thing is this four-letter word called time. We only get so much of it. And we only get so much time so that we can do the things that we want to do. And unfortunately, we spend a lot of it at somebody else's job, helping them to get free so that they can do what they want. When I retired from where I worked, I say retire, I stopped working when I was 42. But when I stopped working, I worked for a guy for 25 years. He left the company a few years later with $100 million. So in a lot of cases, you're working really hard to help somebody else do really, really good. And they got a lot of people like you doing that. That's why we can't do well. So I want to show a video that's going to tell you the difference between us and
poor people and middle class people feel like everything is expensive because they pay for things with money they've exchanged their time for. So they feel like they're paying for everything with their life because they are. So let's say I've got some money. We're going to call this some money. I got some money and I want to buy this car, and I've got some time. So what I do is I take some of my time and I trade my time to somebody for some money, and they give me the money. But when I get the money, I don't have the time anymore because the time's gone and I can't get it back. It's gone forever. So then I see this car and I'm like, I got this money that I've changed my time for, and I'm going to take this money that I've changed my time for, I'm going to trade that in for this car. So now I don't have the time and I don't have the money anymore, but now I have the car. And now the car is becoming worth less over time, right? So I've traded an invaluable asset for a limited asset and then traded the limited asset for a depreciating asset. And I wonder why I'm getting broker. Right?
Power of what he just said. And that is, we take our time, we go to a job, work 40, 50, 60 hours on a job. Nothing wrong with that. Most of the world does that. It's not even a bad thing because that's what they taught us in school. Be on time, work hard, stay there, retire. But the problem with that whole process, is we were trading time. The only thing that we can't get back, time. We traded time. And that's why we feel so foolish down the road, because one day we realize we're in the same spot. We can't get ahead. We can't move ahead because we have wasted time on somebody else's job, building their dream. And so once we built their dream, they're off because they've run 2 or 3 companies or hired thousands of people, hundreds of people, and that only wanted to get paid for what they did that week. They could care less about getting paid or checking the holes. Nowadays, because of the pay system, you can get on a job, work Monday, and get your job on a check on Friday. You don't have to work a week and a half or week and a whole. And that's because we simply don't understand that we're wasting our time on somebody else's job. And then we take the money and go buy stuff that we really don't need. And this old adage said, I remember people buy things with money they don't have to impress people they don't know. But they buy things that they don't need with money they don't have to impress people they don't know. And people do this for 40 and 50 years. I'm going to show you my new car or a new whatever, watch, car, whatever it is. And so it's just a thing that we do. And then one day down the road, we can't seem to get ahead. Well, multi-level marketing, network marketing will fix that problem. It'll fix the problem that you messed up when you bought the wrong house, you bought the wrong car, you did a lot of things wrong. If you do this business right for a long enough time, it will fix those problems, because sooner or later, some people that you don't know, more than likely, they won't have your last name. More than likely, they're not kin to you. Those people will come into your business and grow a huge business, and you get a chance to help them grow it. That's how you get paid. You get paid for helping them grow it. And as time goes on, what took you 50 years to do, to get a Social Security check for $1,500 or $2,000, wherever your Social Security check is, you can have that in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It can grow to $10,000, $20,000 a month. Now, I know we're not supposed to talk about money on these calls, but there are people that make a lot of money in multi-level marketing. And our money's better because our money is what? Residual. These are bills that people got to pay anyway. They have to pay the internet bill. They have to pay their phone bill. They have to pay their light bill. They have to pay their gas bill. They have to pay their insurance bills. These are bills, their home security bills. These are bills they got to pay anyway. So if we can do something and build a business in a $3 trillion industry, $3 trillion industry, if we can build a business inside a $3 trillion industry with a 30-year-old company and show people the fallacy of working for somebody else that long, I think you'll do very, very well, because you may be minimizing what you know right now. Consider yourself an expert, okay? Go around and show people, invite them to the meetings, to the business, and do a great job of edifying the speaker, so somebody they will listen to. And then once they've seen it, you got to divorce yourself of the outcome. This is the hard part. This is a part where people tend to put a whole lot into one thing, and it didn't work like they think it should have. And so you have to divorce yourself of the outcome, because now you've shown someone a plan, you've shown someone a system, and they decided they didn't want to do it, or whatever they decided. You do your follow-up, just keep doing your follow-up over months and years to come. And I promise you, this system that Mr. Thomas has created, this system that the co-founders have created, will work for you like it works for everyone else. Just the thing that will mess you up, though, is your broke cousin, your brother, or someone that you really like. They really their opinion really matters to you, and they said no. And what they're saying is not now, that's what they're really saying. But they're saying, I'm not going to do that now, because they're on something else. But a year later, 6 months later, 2 years later, because you were around, one day they're going to call you. Are you still doing that thing? Are you still doing it? And you're going to ask them what? Because you've quit. You've already quit. So you can't quit. You've got to be in. And then and when they come back, because you show so many people business, when they come back to see what this is all about, I'm fine. I remember clearly, I started in 97. I didn't do well at all for the first 2 or 3 years. And then I think George Bush was in the White House. And I don't know what happened with George Bush in the White House in the year 2000. But my business blew up because people were really concerned about a lot of things. I won't go into details right now, but people were listening. In other words, you need to build a business until people start listening. When they start listening, something happened, something big, something globally happened. And all of a sudden people are listening. And so within a year, about 3 years, I went from an RD to a SVP, platinum, in about 3 years. That we call the SVP, it was something called WitchCom. And that's because everybody was listening. You got to be in the business when a few listening, and you really need to be in the business when everybody's listening. They know somebody. They'll go back to their job and bring 3 people back. They'll go to their job and go bring 4 people back because they're all listening. And then there comes these points in times when nobody's listening for whatever reason. Your quantity of people that you're bringing in is going to be there, but it's going to be reduced. So fight through the fight. And remember, to force yourself an outcome, it probably has very little to do with you. Your job is to invite and then have an upline to show the plan. And that's what we do. And don't prejudge. Whoever you are, don't prejudge. I don't care if they're barely making it, if they're making a lot of money, just don't prejudge. Talk to everybody.